Uncle Ron and stuff. This is episode 10, part 9. Every time I think I'm done, I'm not. This one is going to about thinking outside the box. But before I get to that, music. If music certainly can be nonverbal. I mean, yeah, some music has lyrics, and lyrics are great, but the music, like symphonic music, that doesn't have lyrics per se, and it when it's in your head, you don't hear words, you don't think words. Something else happens. So that's I've been trying to nibble at the edge of nonverbal, visual. That's an auditory, a big auditory. I used to go to Grateful Dead concerts, and when they got into jam, which could run 10, 15, 20 minutes, uh, you might try to resist it for a while, even fight it. But sooner or later, it grabbed hold of you, and I could go all kind of different places. Sometimes I could, like Tom and Space. They had a long jam called Space, and that's really what they were doing. They could time and space and music. Anyway, thinking outside the box. I brought that up in a prior episode, and uh, I got some stuff I could say about that. First of all, I got to talk about the box. I don't know why I can't ever center myself on this thing, but I get it all backwards. How about that? Okay, the box. The box is, the boundaries of our own experiences. And the fewer experiences you have, maybe the bigger the box. Uh, College. Uh, uh, you don't need to go to college. You really don't. You're going to get three-quarters of it. But what it does do is it opens you up to other people and ideas. And so it kind of expands your realm of box. I'm boxed in. Um, I had too much engineer training. I'm a problem solver. And that boxes me. Uh, uh, Tools. I was thinking one of the previous conversations I had was caveman, and he saw an apple up high on a tree, and he really wanted it. And I want that apple, and he jumps and he reaches and he can't get it, and he wants the apple. I want something. How do I do it? So somehow he picked up a stick and banged that apple off the tree. He was thinking outside the box. His box was his body. That's all. The concept of extending your reach. And maybe that's what thinking outside the box is about, is extending your reach. Uh, I do a lot of stuff with hardware, things you can put in your hand, electrical stuff, mechanical stuff, all kind of things like that. And I've learned over time that having a wide tool set really helps, because I got to do something like, how am I going to do this? And well, maybe I'll be able to use this tool, or maybe I'll be able to use that tool. And I got lots of tools of all kinds. It's really handy to have the right tool, because you get into situations where you know you can't do it many other ways. Although that is a box in itself. Well, I can't do it. You know, you we all have that. Well, I can't do it. It's not achievable. That's a limitation or box. Um, Outside of the box. I was thinking we're programmed for a lot of stuff. I talked about programming before, but we're programmed for a lot of things and belief systems like gravity. You know, gravity's real. I mean, it pulls things down. And you just know it. You know it. Okay. You accept it. Well, airplanes fly around all the time. and they somehow defeat gravity in that sense. I mean, so do birds. Uh, I don't get how birds evolved and that did they have a thought like they could leap off this building. When I was little, I used to put a cable on my back like Superman and, think about, I'm going to fly and I'm going to jump off the side of a building. I never did it. I knew better because I was inside my physical box. No, I can't fly. Anyway, I don't understand how evolution of birds occurred because at some point at some time, something or other had to leap or something and manage to go farther than just a jump uh, and fly. And I don't get how that happened, but obviously it was outside of his or her or whatever it was box. Ruts. If you go out west, uh, the west, particularly the far west, was settled by wagon trains of people who left the east and drove wagons across the prairie. And they used sort of the same routes. There were a couple routes, I guess. Anyway, over time, there was actually ruts that got developed in the prairie from wagon wheels. They followed the same path, even to the point of the same rut. We all get into ruts. We all get into staying inside the box. So when you're confronted with something and you don't know how to handle it, it's time to start thinking outside the box. And how do you do that? I got some things that I try. Maybe it might work for you. I don't know. The first one is to walk away from it if you can. Let it chew. Let your brain chew on it for a while, and come back with a fresh set of eyes. That always helps. If it's 10 minutes or 2 days, come back and look at it again and think about it some more and think about it some more. And maybe when you finally, be ready, it'll appear. The other thing is to talk it out with somebody. Really always help with software design. You're talking about programs and you wrote a program and it's not working right. And you've looked at it and you looked at it and you can't figure out what's wrong with it. So what happens is you go to somebody else who understands programming and you start talking about it. And usually what happens is as you're explaining how it's supposed to be working, that aha moment comes. You realize what's wrong with the program and just talking it out loud. Okay. Much more difficult boxes are ones like I talked about gravity, but there are a lot of other things. There are a couple of books I read years and years ago that were really good on thinking outside the box and getting outside of your programming that you have. And give you an example of that. You must have lost your car keys or you've lost something at some time. You can't find it. It wasn't here, it wasn't there. You looked all the places. It's got to be. I can't find it. Okay, well, somebody moved it. Somebody else was involved or something. Thinking outside the box. Uh, I looked, checking the trash can. I could have inadvertently thrown it in the trash can, you know, or I haven't gone out in the yard and looked under rocks. And you go, well, that's really stupid. It's a way of stretching and making you think outside the box. Am I really convinced it's going to be in a rock in the backyard? No. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's a way of forcing you to think beyond where that rut that stretches across the prairie. People I've heard of people that found their car keys in the refrigerator. Okay, they were doing something and thoughts collided. They had more than one thought going at the same time. They had the keys in their hand, and they opened the refrigerator door and they put the keys down and they grabbed up whatever it was and they forgot to pick up the keys and there it is. Uh, Walk away from it. Come back. Start exploring other avenues. Get out of the ruts that you're in. Uh, the thing about looking under rocks is interesting because you know it's nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense. It can't be there. It's like I explained one time when I came out of my house and the car was gone. It can't be. I went back in the house, came out, still gone. Where did it go? I don't. It doesn't make any sense. I looked up the street. I wasn't parked on the street. Wasn't up the street. So, but I didn't look under the garbage cans. You know, didn't do that. Could have, should have, to make me think like, well, where could it possibly gone? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So, where are my car keys? I can't find my car keys. Okay, well, car was stolen, and I had trouble accepting the fact that it could be stolen. Someone came in the garage, got my keys, and stole my car. That I had a hard time accepting it. It's just not. It can't be, but it was. A lot of things are like that. It just can't be, but it is. It's hard to get your head outside of the boxes that you're trapped in. Like I said, I'm trapped in an engineer mentality, and so I have things or dimensions. One of the things I'll do on that is how many watermelons can you put into an inch? I start mixing up units on things, and that helps me. You probably never tried that. Ask those asinine and crazy questions. I used to go into meetings, sit there for 3 hours, whoever it was, yama, 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 yama. I finally had enough, and I'd say, what do you want us to do? Just tell us what you want us to do. You know, Everybody else is afraid to do that. I mean, it seems kind of rude, but uh, thinking outside the box. Listen to some music. That'll change the frame of references. Uh, how many gallons can a, uh, a dangling participle hold? How many Googles can you put into a watch? 47 times uh, 3 stars and 7 meters of concrete. What does that add up to? A nonsensical sort of, James Joyce, stream of thought stuff. I don't know if you ever read any James Joyce, but he dangles all sorts of stream of consciousness, like it just spews out, rambling windshields to bicycle pumps and tar feather babies and cartoon freaks. Just let go and let the brain, mind, whatever, I don't know, consciousness just tumble down through, rainbow liquids, firecracker farts, bimbo braggins, and automobile parts. Listen and talk and laugh and wonder and just mix it all up. Things which have no direct connections. Watermelons and board feet. There's no connection. But by doing that, you are starting to move outside of the ruts, those prairie wagon ruts that we fall into. I thinking outside the box, thinking outside the box. Maybe you're not even aware you're in a box, and I meet a lot of people who don't know they're boxed. Uh, they're so fixed, they know, and the problem with the box is you're comfortable inside your box. You created a box that you're comfortable in, and going outside the box can be uncomfortable. I sometimes force myself to go outside the box, and I go toward the edge of the box, and I find that it's a slippery slope. The farther you get toward the edge of the box, and it starts getting slippery and sliding, and I've gone over the edge before. I wanted to, and I did. Sometimes it wasn't so good, but nonetheless, I got out of the rut for a while. And did it have any lasting impact? I used to do a lot of psychedelics, and people say, well, uh, can you tell what it did? And I go, no, I can't. How do I put back, how do I remember who I was when I was 12? What did I think? What do they feel? How can you do that? You are what you are now, which is accumulation of all that crap. Did the psychedelics have any effect on me today? I'm sure they did. I mean, I talk about some stuff that nobody talks about, or at least the people I know around don't talk about it. I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure there are other like-minded individuals who can roam from subject to subject. My son and I can have some incredible conversations. They go from, cosmology to DNA, and talking to psychiatrists and saying that, yeah, whatever I do can impact the DNA that might get passed on to the next generation. And I'm too old for that now. I can't spawn any more children. But the fact that you can, and I'm sure it has a physical reality to it, what you ate and where you went, and what the air you breathed and the water you drank, and all those sorts of physiological things, they do impact your DNA. So, in a roundabout way, whatever you are now could, in fact, in one generation, have an impact on your offspring, which is a really strange thought and thinking outside the box. It's post-Darwin, if you will. I throw out things. Post-Darwin is an interesting one. Darwin and evolution, species, and the strong what uh, strongest in the jungle survive, or something, that kind of thing. You know, Genetics changed, and that particular growing hand really helped that particular variation of the species survive. I, Outside the box. First of all, what box are you in? Again, you probably don't even know you're inside a box. We're all in boxes. It's our comfort zone. You know, maybe you might want to explore what is the limitations of your box. You must have felt it periodically as you get toward the edge of the plane, the edge of the sphere, however you want to model it, or as you get toward the edge of it, it starts getting uncomfortable. Maybe it gets exciting. I don't know. Some people, yeah. They like taking risks. Risky behavior. Who doesn't enjoy that? I mean, yeah, let's go take a risk. You know, uh, Push that accelerator pedal down to 100 miles an hour and see how fast this baby can go. You're flying along. Does that have a lasting impact on your box dimensions? Maybe, yeah, I think so. Sure, why not? Um, yeah, boxes, and boxes, and how do you expand your box or thinking outside the box? I don't know if it's much outside as just expanding the territory of your self identity. I'm back on that, but the territory you can explore. Yeah, the more you know and the more you study and the more you learn, that helps expand everything in there and gives you more prairie to. You don't have to necessarily go in those same ruts. You can get to the same destination by roaming around some other way. That's just, outside the box. If you got thrown out in the middle of Alaska, there's TV shows like Naked and Alone and things like that. You better be able to think outside the box. I mean, I got to keep warm. I got to keep fed, and I got to keep from being eaten. So, you know, things which you better start. You must know how. You better, I think, outside the box, or it's not going to go well for you. Daily life, thinking outside the box. Yeah, I was going around the Beltway one night delivering something really late. And I was tuning the radio, which I like to do, and listen to weird stuff on the radios, AM radio, particularly at night. And there was this Swami guru guy, the one of those guys that sits on top of the mountain that everybody goes to, and they talk to him and tell me the secrets. What's the secret? And he was saying the secret is you have no expectations and don't do anything, and you won't get disappointed. It was all based on his, disappointment. Well, we get disappointed all the time. She or he or didn't They didn't do what I thought I wanted them to do. I didn't want to tell them to do it. I just wanted them to do it, and they didn't do it. They didn't kiss me when I wanted them to kiss me or something. I don't know. So the answer for all that is, well, don't do anything and don't have any relationships, and you won't get disappointed. And that makes perfect sense. Don't do nothing. And that there are people who don't do nothing and they don't think about anything. And I guess that's okay. Doesn't seem like living to me, but existence is just okay too. I don't know. Thank God that there are some people, and there have been people like Newton, Einstein, Chopin. I don't know. There's a whole long list of people who did think, thought outside the box, and we are benefiting from them doing so today. I have warmth and light because, like Tesla, Nikola Tesla, and all the thoughts and things he did or didn't do and looked into and explored. And it, we benefit from those people. Like refrigeration, there ought to be I think, an annual uh, uh, AC celebration day. We have air conditioning. Air conditioning is, I really like air conditioning in the summer. I've lived one and we didn't have it, and it's hot and sticky and terrible. So, National Air Conditioning Day, that would be a great idea, don't you think? I mean, we get to enjoy the fruits of people who thought outside the box, who did think deeply about things, who managed to put two and two equal four in some strange mechanism that I won't ever understand, but they did it. Anyway, I don't know if you want to go outside your box. Maybe you've never been pushed to think outside your box. Maybe you don't even know you have a box. Maybe you don't care. I don't know. Anyway, walk away from it. That always helps. Don't give up. Giving up's a bad thing. First time you quit, it's the hardest. Second time, not quite so hard. Third time, easier. Fourth time, didn't matter anyway. Don't quit. Stop, take a break, do whatever you got to do, but don't quit. Einstein and other people said persistence is the key. Not smartest knife in the drawer, not the prettiest, not the fastest, anything. Persistence. Keep with it. Keep trying. Change your tool set. You know, find the tools that you need to work. I'm very limited in the emotional domain and tools. I don't seem to know how to craft tools for that. So when I'm confronted with anger, I don't really know what to do. I can try to be calm about it, and sometimes it works, most times it doesn't. Thinking outside the box. There have been cases where I've been in a grocery store and I can see something going on that's not right, like mama is whacking her child. He's not behaving correctly. I just push something off the shelf and make a big bang noise, and it breaks that. Startled. She'll look up, and what's going on? Now there's a big disruption in the force. Now, clean up on aisle 6. Yeah, big cleanup, but stop that whacking of that child. Thinking outside the box, what do you do? Sometimes you got to do something even if it's wrong. They did not shoot people to the moon without course corrections. There's no way. They calculated it all out in big computers and mathematicians and all that stuff. They still had to send commands up that said, we need to jiggle a little bit this way, a little bit that way, speed up a little bit, slow down a little bit. So if the smartest people, and they have a whole lot of smart people, if they have to do that, give yourself a break and you do that. Don't give up. Just jiggle it some, even if it's wrong. If you move in the wrong direction, you can always turn around and go back the other way. Now, if you're digging yourself into a big hole, like depression, you know, you're piling onto yourself. You're a worthless piece of shit. I mean, it doesn't help to keep digging. You know, stop making the hole digger deeper. Yeah, easier said than done, right? Here's another too long, and I've rambled again, but nonetheless, the whole idea was thinking outside the box, and that's plenty of questions. I haven't even scratched the surface on that one. You have to do the work now. I just throw out the carrots and thoughts and, I don't. Today is the 29th of December in 2022, and we're coming up on the new year. And I'll be 77 years old, I think, 77 years old this year. So I'm getting long in the tooth. Um, Maybe I'm capturing this stuff because I know, like 5 years, I'm just going to be a babbling idiot. Not that I'm not now, but even more worse, even more worser, more worser, and fandango, dancing to more worser, the symphonic more worser. That's enough for today. I, you probably can't read that. Where did it go? There it is. There it is. That's it.